welcome to Cooking Corner Live. This is actually going to be our last Cooking Corner Live of the school year, so we're so happy to have you join us today. What are we making today?
Today, we are going to be making strawberry pepper salsa with homemade cinnamon sugar tortilla chips.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Super excited.
How fun. Awesome. Should we start going over what we need to make this?
Yeah, so just a reminder, if you want to chat with us, make sure you're signed in and say hi in the chat. Otherwise, just hang out and you can watch us cook. But yeah, so let's go over our ingredients. So we're kind of making two recipes in one, since we're making the cinnamon sugar tortilla chips and we're making the strawberry pepper salsa. So what do we need for our tortilla chips?
So for our tortilla chips, we'll need some tortillas. These are some of our favorites. Pretty big, so we're just using regular tortillas. Then we also have some sugar, just regular white sugar, and we have some cinnamon. And we are going to be using this cooking spray. So that's all we'll need to, all the ingredients for our tortilla chips, and we'll be cooking them in the oven today.
Yep. So we also have, for materials for the tortilla chips, we have a cooking tray with some parchment paper, and then a knife and cutting board to cut them. Mm-hmm. And then for the salsa, our ingredients that we're using is strawberries. These are actually fresh strawberries that we just got from a farm yesterday. A orange bell pepper, a red onion, lime, and some olive oil. And we're going to be chopping that all up, and then so we'll be using the knife and the cutting board for that as well, and then a bowl and a spoon to combine it all together.
Awesome. Very exciting. So before we start cooking, our first step is always to wash our hands. So we have both washed our hands and we are ready to cook today. So should we start with the tortilla chips?
Yeah, so those are going to take about 3 to 5 minutes, hopefully, to cook, maybe a little bit longer if we want them crispier. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start that. We have our oven already preheated. We did it to 350 degrees. So we heated it before we even started because then it gets up to temperature and it's all ready to put the chips in. So yeah, Perfect. Let's get started.
Okay. So I think we're going to be using 2 tortillas for this, correct? Yes. All right, so I am going to get out my tortillas. These are high fiber tortillas, so a little extra special.
So it looks like they have some flaxseed, and you can see some of the grains in it.
Let's get a close up there. There it is, our tortilla. And I am going to be using my knife here to cut them into our chips. So the fun thing about this is you can cut them however you like, whatever shape of chip you like. I'm just going to put them on top of each other. And I think I'm going to cut them into slices, kind of like a pizza.
Yes.
You think that would be good? Okay. So here is my tortillas. Got my sharp knife on my cutting board. Be very careful when I'm using the knife. I do not want to cut my hands. And I'm going to start by cutting it in 2 pieces like this. And perfect. And now, should I do it like this, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it like this. Okay, now I'm cutting it in half again. And like I said, you can do any shapes you want. I bet you could actually use a cookie cutter. I feel like that would be really fun to do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And now I'm just cutting it into some smaller slices. They're kind of turning into triangles a little bit here. And my last slice.
It does look like a pizza.
It does. So, now that I'm done cutting, you can see the shape of our tortillas. This is what they look like. And they're actually kind of big compared to like most tortilla chips. You can see it's like almost as big as my hand. So now we got all of our pieces here. And what is our next step?
So our next step is we're going to lay the pieces onto our cooking sheet. Let me
Just move our salsa ingredients over. Do you want to put it here?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
So, yep, we'll lay them out, and then we're going to make sure that the edges aren't touching because we don't want them to be stuck together. They're not really going to cook. They're just gonna. We hope they get a little crisped up.
Nice and crispy, just like a chip.
Yep,
That's what we're going for.
they look so good.
They do look good.
Yum yum.
I'm excited to try these. Have you ever made tortilla chips before?
I have. I normally, when I have done them baked in the oven, and I've used corn tortillas and salt. So I've never done the cinnamon sugar version, so I'm super excited about that.
Awesome.
So then,
Right. So we can see that they're all on the sheet.
they look so cool.
And they're not touching. I know it's kind of a cool pattern, huh? Okay. Are we spraying the oil?
Yes.
Okay.
So next is we're going to use our cooking spray. We have this buttery spray.
Nice.
And we're going to do an even layer of oil sprayed on top. We don't want it to be too soaked in oil, so just thin. We just want it to be enough so our cinnamon and sugar will stick.
Okay. This can feels a little empty, so let's see if we have enough in here.
Ooh, nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
So all of the chips have the oil sprayed on them, but not too much. And it smells like butter now.
It does.
Okay. And what is our next step?
Next step, we have our sugar here. So we're just going to put a few shakes of cinnamon in here, mix it all up, and we'll have our cinnamon sugar mixture to put on top.
Okay. So we're adding the cinnamon to the sugar before we put them onto the chips.
Yes. So
Okay.
we get an even.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple shakes and tell me when you think it's enough cinnamon. You don't want it too much. More?
No, I think that's good. Let me do
Perfect.
a little. The back of the spoon, mix it up. Oh, okay. Now tell me that's not.
Ooh,
good.
that looks perfect. So it's all mixed up, cinnamon and the sugar. Look at that.
So next step is we'll use our fingers and we'll just do a little sprinkle of cinnamon and sugar on here.
So not too much. We do want that cinnamon sugar flavor, but we don't want it to be too sweet because we have a lot of flavors in our salsa that we're going to be dipping these in.
Exactly. Here, do you want to?
Sure, let me do the rest.
Do some.
Perfect.
It looks so good. Have you ever made chips? You said you haven't.
I have not, so this is very exciting for me. And it already smells, the cinnamon sugar especially, smells really good. So I am super excited to try these.
They look yummy. My favorite cinnamon sugar chips are like the pita chips that have cinnamon sugar on
Yes,
it.
those are delicious.
That's what these remind me of, but they're going to be tortilla chips. So
Okay, so we have all of our chips, oiled, seasoned, and are they ready to go in the oven?
yes, they are.
Okay, so how long will these be baking for in the oven?
So we are going to start them at 3 to 4 minutes. These similar to when we made our kale chips a while ago. We're going to be checking them really often. This oven that we use here is called a convection oven, so it uses a different, the air is all moving around versus your ovens at home are just like a normal oven where the heat just comes up from the bottom and the top. So it might cook a little bit faster. So we're starting at 3 minutes. We'll check them, and we want to make sure that they're brown and crispy, but not too burnt. And we also don't want them to be like floppy like they are right now.
Yes.
So a little more crisp than this.
Perfect. Okay. Would you like to put them in the oven?
Yes.
Okay. So this is definitely a step that you'll need an adult's help for. And there they go. Perfect.
So I put them on the middle rack, and I have my phone. I will start a 3-minute timer, and when that goes off, we will check them.
Perfect. All right, so while those are cooking, we're going to start on our salsa, which I'm very excited about. So we have our strawberries, onion, pepper, lime. And I think we only want to make enough for us both to eat today. But if you want to make a lot of salsa for your whole family, you can definitely make more of this.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so our first thing that we have is our strawberries. So we got these strawberries from Hindinger Farm in Hamden, Connecticut. We went there yesterday. It was so nice. They have goats. It's such a nice little farm. And we got a bunch of strawberries. So I have washed these off. We're only going to use, these are kind of small. The strawberries that you get from a farm are often going to be a little bit smaller than the ones that you'd get from the grocery store. That just means there's more flavor packed all into.
Ooh, I love it. Here, let's do a close-up of one.
Yeah, that
Our strawberry looks like, this is like one of the bigger ones. So we got our stem and the little leaves on there. And the whole view. We have lots of little seeds on the strawberries, which is really cool about strawberries, that you just eat the whole thing, including the seeds.
So next step is we're going to be removing the green stem. So just kind of pull it off like this. And then we're going to be chopping it up into little pieces. So if you remember from our pico de gallo that we made, we wanted all of our onion and tomatoes to all be into the same size pieces so it fits nicely on our chip. That's exactly what we're going to be doing for this. So,
all right, so yeah, let's start taking off all the stems.
Here, and as you do that, I will start cutting them into smaller pieces.
Perfect.
Sound good? Let me, here. We'll do this a little bit. So we have
Perfect. Take the stems off. Ooh, these look really good. I think strawberries taste better when they're this nice dark red color. And we actually tried strawberry earlier, and they were so sweet. So this is going to be perfect for this recipe.
Yeah, they were so delicious. So, what have you been strawberry picking before this morning?
I have. I love going strawberry picking. And now this is the time of year that strawberries are in where we live in Connecticut are ripe. So I actually have some strawberries in my garden that are growing and in a school garden, which is very exciting because all of our students get to see them growing.
Yes. Yeah, strawberries are so much fun. They grow on the ground, and they're kind of a short plant. They start out by having these small little white flowers, and then, like Miss Maria said, when it gets to be right now around mid, this is actually kind of early. I feel like sometimes it's more mid-June. They are ready to be picked, and you can definitely grow them in your garden at home. Or there's a lot of farms around. Okay, so our timer for 3 minutes has gone off. How do they look?
Let's take a look.
Okay, I'll keep cutting this up.
Yeah.
And
let me see if I can do this. Okay, so can I open this? Okay, so here are the chips, and you know what? I'm going to give them about 1 more minute because they're starting to look crispy. I'll give them 30 seconds. And then I'm going to take them out on the tray and let them cool down because we want them nice and cool before we start eating them. Don't want to burn ourselves. And we've got that perfect timing. The strawberries are all cut up.
Just about done, yeah.
So once the strawberries are cut up, we're going to be putting it into our bowl, which is where we're going to be mixing all of our ingredients. And I'm going to go take those out of the oven now.
Okay. So I am just going to be adding my strawberries to the bowl. They look so good and they smell so sweet. Let me turn my timer off here. I cut them into pretty tiny pieces here, similar to just a salsa size. And next we're going to add our bell pepper. So you can do any colored bell pepper that you'd like. I chose orange, or we actually just had orange from a past recipe. So it's actually going to be the perfect color contrast. So since it's just Maria and I, we're going to just be doing a small amount of salsa, as we said.
Do you think those are cooked? The chips are done?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. We'll show those in just a minute.
Yeah, we'll let them cool off a bit. So
Here, let's get a close-up of this cutting. action. Yeah, this is going to be a very pretty recipe because we have the red from the strawberry and the orange from the pepper, and then the kind of purplish color from the onion. We love very colorful foods.
It's true. More colors, the better. So I'm just moving away from my seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a few little strips here. I'm going to put it so the flatter part is on the cutting board. And then start cutting it into strips. You always want a pretty sharp knife. That is safer. And we will chop it into little pieces. Again, always make sure your fingers are out of the way. And if you're not comfortable using a knife, it's totally okay to ask a parent for help or whomever you like to cook with. So these are all in small pieces, just like our strawberries. So I'm going to do the same thing to these other two. So, are you growing any peppers in your garden this year?
I have, I think, 2 pepper plants, and I believe they're bell peppers.
Nice.
But there's no peppers growing on them yet. But I do have strawberries growing, so I wish the peppers are ready so I can make this at home with stuff in my garden.
Soon enough. So do you eat all of your strawberries right away, or do you kind of preserve them?
Yeah, so I love strawberries. My family loves strawberries, so we do eat pretty much all the ones that I have in my garden because I don't have a ton of strawberry plants. But when I go strawberry picking at a farm and bring back a lot of strawberries, I like to freeze them and then keep them in the freezer in a like Ziploc bag, and then you can eat them months later, which is really cool.
That is cool. And what do you use them for?
Just
eat them frozen?
Yeah, you can kind of do a lot of different things with them. I like to make smoothies with them, and I like to use them sometimes I'm feeling fancy. Instead of using ice cubes in my water, I'll put strawberries in, and it kind of makes the water taste like strawberries, keeps it nice and cool, and then you get to eat the strawberries afterwards.
Awesome. That sounds really yummy.
What's your favorite way to eat strawberries?
I love them fresh. Other than that, I also like them sometimes on top of ice cream, actually.
Ooh,
really
yum.
Or in my yogurt.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay, so do you want to show this is what we got so far.
We got our red and our orange in there. Very pretty.
Next, we're going to be adding our onion. So we use a red onion. We're going to use a really small amount. So I'm going to cut it in half. And so onions, I think we've said this before, but they are definitely known to make people cry. But if I wear contacts, so if you're wearing contacts, sometimes that doesn't happen. Wow. So let me know if you start crying. Are you crying yet?
Not yet, but this is why I'm not the one cutting them. I always cry when I cut onions.
So I cut the onion in half, and then you see the root here. This is how it would grow. It would grow roots out the bottom and then more stems out the top. So on the other half, I cut off the stem part. I want to keep the root intact because otherwise the onion layers just kind of go everywhere. I'm taking off the first layer, and then I'll show you my little chopping technique.
Get a close-up of this cutting here.
So carefully, I'm going to do little slices. Again, be really careful about your fingers.
Oh, I'm starting to tear up a little bit.
Okay. And look at these.
Wow, those perfect little tiny pieces.
There we go. And we don't want too much. That's probably even a lot. So
maybe let's use half of that to start with, and then we can taste it and see how we like it.
You can always add more. But that's a trick to get your onions.
Ooh, this looks so good.
Really tiny. Ooh, yum. I'm excited. Okay, so let's put these aside, and if we want more onion later, we can have more.
Good idea. I always think it's funny that these are called red onions because they're more purple, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's what they look like in the bowl. Very nice. And next, are we going to be adding our lime?
Yeah, so lime, that's all of our main ingredients. There are some optional ingredients. You could add some cilantro, which is an herb, or you could add salt and pepper. We don't have any salt or pepper here, so that's fine. But our strawberries have a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
And then for a little like dressing, you're gonna do some lime juice and some olive oil. So
perfect.
You want to add some lime?
I would love to. So this is our lime. That's what it looks like. And to get the juice out of this, I'm going to cut it in half. And I think we're probably gonna use half of the lime, so just being very careful. There's our lime. Very nice. And I think I'm going to squeeze it straight into the bowl. And you can use a, what's it called? A lemon juicer for this, but I'm just going to use my hands and squeeze the juice. I don't know if you can see that. Ooh, it smells good.
It does. Limes, I find often either have really, really tiny seeds or virtually no seeds at all. Lemons, I always find seeds in. So
I don't see a single seed in there.
They're probably very tiny. So we have our lime juice, and then we're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top.
So like
half a teaspoon.
Half a tiny bit.
Just to like get all the flavors mixed up.
Perfect. And now our next step, we're just mixing it all together using our spoon. So getting all the flavors all mixed up and the colors. This is such a pretty salsa.
It really is. It looks really pretty. The onions, you could smell the lime juice. I'm excited. Okay. So again, you could add, like if we had cilantro, that would be good to add a little bit of green, but this looks so pretty. So Miss Maria is getting us some cups, so we each get our own to try.
Okay. And get right in there. Perfect. Okay, and I think, let me see if the chips are cooled. Ooh, they are. Okay, so I knew that the chips were done cooking because first of all, they're hard. They're not as easy to bend as they were. And if you look real closely, you can see the edge is just starting to get a little bit toasty, a little bit brown. Not anywhere close to being burnt, but I think that's how you know it's done.
Yeah. Good.
So we got our chip, got our salsa. Since I'm already holding this one, should I?
Yeah,
should I try it? Okay. So take my mask off. Okay. So when I'm trying my salsa here with my chip, I want to try to get a little bit of everything on here. It's a little bit hard. Let's see. There's my bite. It looks good. Got my strawberry, my pepper, my onion, and let me try it. Wow, that is so good. Okay. So the thing I taste most in here is the strawberry. It's really sweet. These are really delicious strawberries. And my chip is really good. It's not too sweet that it's like sweeter than the strawberry, which is nice because I love the strawberry flavor. And then the onion adds a little bit of almost like a little spiciness to it. And then the lime juice kind of brings it all together. So this is delicious. I'm very excited. And I can't wait to see what Miss Maren thinks. Put my mask back on. All right, come try it.
I'm excited. So I have my chip here, a little cinnamon and sugar on it. Take my mask off. Ooh, it looks so good. So again, a little strawberry, a little pepper, just like Miss Maria said. That is really good. The strawberries are so delicious. Highly recommend going to a local farm and trying some of the strawberries. So good. I would definitely make this again. I can't wait to eat the rest. Yeah. Put my mask back on. Okay, well, I would definitely say that you should try this recipe at home. It's super easy. The strawberries, especially since they're in season right now, it's perfect. And even just like the cinnamon and sugar chips, they're so good and so perfect.
Yeah.
You can add them. You can do a bunch of different things with them.
Yeah,
you can and dip them in other types of things. You could put them with like a yogurt dip or something like that as well. So, yeah, this is definitely a great way to end our Cooking Corner Live series.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. And as always, you can find all of our older shows that we've already done on our YouTube channel in this playlist. So, you know, if you're missing us, you can go back and watch those. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.